What is happening, hypesters, hype-ears, hype enthusiasts of all ages? Welcome to the HypeHype live stream. I am your host, Shogun, and today we're going to be checking out some very cool new stuff in the editor.
Off to a little bit,
slightly little bit of a late start. I think technically maybe I was live on time, but normally we would have done this part by now, right? Give people a minute here to roll in as we usually do at the top of the stream. Oh, you got some echo there. All right, I'm getting double mic signal. Let's see. Am I monitoring something that I should not be? No, not there.
Oh, is that? There we go. It was pulling the audio from the camera. It hasn't been doing that before. So something new all the time. And there we go. Wouldn't be a HypeHype stream. What's up, Ryan? If we didn't get off to the start with a little bit of technical difficulties, right? That's how we roll from time to time. But today on the stream, we are going to be taking a look at some new features in the editor, primarily something that I'm personally very excited about. I feel like a big nerd being super excited for this, but we have a switch now, which is an amazing tool. It's going to make a lot of things much easier in the editor. We're also going to check out the UI tool. We've looked at it before, but it is officially released now. And we're also going to check out a little bit the new live streaming feature in app where you can live stream your editor sessions for other people to watch. So a lot of cool stuff to do there. And then also, as we get towards the end, as I usually try to do, I will save a little bit of time to answer your questions, check out your hypes. And I've already been given a hype that I've been told I should play today on the stream. So we're definitely going to check that out. As usual, first of all, big thanks to Yelp for letting me know there was a little audio issue there. If you notice anything, music's too loud, too quiet, my voice too loud, too quiet, anything like that, please do let me know in the chat. I'm trying to listen to it here in my headphones, but personally I have a really hard time talking and judging the volume of everything at the same time. It's a little difficult. Anyway, that's just me. So let's jump into it now. We're gonna go to this screen. Yeah, here we are. So what I have loaded up here is the hype that I was working on last week as I did the live remix based on votes from you guys. And I remixed Frosty's Snowy Planet from the Hype Pug. And this is going to be a cool place where I think I can demonstrate something about the switch filter. But actually, before we go into that, I'm just going to go here and we're going to load up a blank canvas so we can look at these tools without any interference of existing logic that already exists in a hype. Here's another thing actually that's new, that's really cool. Was not on my list of topics, but something that another thing that I feel like a giant nerd being super excited about. But now on the camera node, you see there's this little box here. It's invisible. You can't touch it. You can't select it, but it's attached to this, and it is representing the way that the camera is facing. So you can now be much more precise with the placement of your camera. For example, say we have this, we've got this green box here, right? And I want my camera to be perfectly aligned with this green box. So we can look here and we can say, all right, position-wise, it's 0, 0. I'm just going to make this also 0, so it's perfectly zeroed there. Which means if we take this camera now, we move this to the X0. Z, we want it to be back a little bit. Y, we want it to be a little bit higher. But rotation, we can go ahead and reset that, and then we can kind of like rotate it down a little bit. And now our camera perfectly centered along with the cube. Super. Super. That's really nice. I love that. Really great thing. Oh, did the echo come back? Or are you just hearing that from the beginning? It doesn't look like I'm having any audio inputs here besides this one. So I'm wondering where that could be coming from. I'm just going to go ahead and turn down. I'm just going to check my... Yelp says everything seems fine. HypeHype says it's back. Good now. Okay, so temporary thing. Let me know if it comes back. I'll check on it again. What I am going to do here, though, since we're going to the editor, I'm going to turn on my chill tunes for editing playlist. So now there's another opportunity to let me know. Music too loud, too quiet. It sounds pretty loud in my headphones, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn it down. Not from there, from here. There we go. That sounds better. But let me know how it sounds to you. Boom. Here we go. I think I need to just turn down my headphones a little bit. I'm using... There we go. That's better. A little distracting to me to hear myself talking and music, all that noise. Anyway, so now let's jump into the good stuff. We looked at this cool new camera feature. Ryan PH just says wrong. I guess we're going to roll with it anyway. So let's look at the first thing on my list, which is the switch filter. Microphone needs to stay relatively close to the front of my face. So let's load this up. Now, what we have in here is a really awesome tool that is going to save you a bunch of logic. And I'm going to show here a few cases where this could come in really handy. But the main one is anytime you want to do something, you want to make something happen either randomly or you want to make something happen based on values, right? So previously, if you wanted to do something randomly, you would go in here and you would grab the random tool, right? And then you would put your value range in here, and then you would send that value out to any, whoops, not duplicate, any number of compares, right? For each individual thing you want to do, you're going to make a separate compare, and you're going to say, I want something to happen when the value is this, boom, when the value is that, something else is going to happen. And you might end up with a long line here. I know I've done a few things where I ended up with a long line of these compares, each one doing a different thing, but all based on the same input value. Hey, Game Seekers, long time no see. And Ryan has a quick question about the normal camera, orthogonal camera. Is my understanding is the point of the orthogonal camera is that it doesn't scale, it doesn't work like a normal camera where it scales by distance, right? The things that are farthest away are going to be the same size as the things that are up close. Like, let's see if we can demonstrate it here real quick. So let's add another one of these cubes, and we're going to go put it way in the back here. So if we look at this, boom, with the normal camera, cube in the back much smaller than the cube in the front, right? But if we go in here, where is that setting, by the way? Is that a completely different camera? I haven't used that yet, to be honest, the camera stuff. So if we go to... Is it in here? Oh, it's here. There's the check mark. Orthogonal. So you can see right away when I clicked it, our view changes a little bit, but these boxes suddenly become the same size. And if I hit play there, we're looking at it, boxes, same size. It's also doing some squishing here. Obviously, you're going to want to... Yeah, upgraded my room. This is no longer, you haven't been around for a while, Game Seekers. I'm actually at the office now. I'm not streaming from my bedroom anymore. I still do from time to time. But generally speaking, we're streaming from the office these days. So this is our nice streaming room at the office. Yelp and I hung all these soundproofing panels. For some reason, we have a bunch of different colors. We have white ones, black ones, and purple ones. But it's all right because their purpose is to dampen the sound, and they do a wonderful job of it. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't used the orthogonal camera a whole lot yet, so I'm not going to be able to give you any great tips on using it until I spend a little bit more time with it. But that's the basic difference there. And I guess it's going to be really good for doing certain puzzles, stuff like that, where you want the scale of things to remain constant. All right. So now let's go back to where I was. So we were talking about the switch filter, and I was describing these endless chains of compares that you can end up with, right? So you have a bunch of different possible outcomes, all based on the same value or the same input value. So now we don't need any of this, right? Maybe we still want to use the random, but there is a possibility to use a random also directly in here. Another very cool thing, which we'll get to in just a second. So when we look at the switch here, we can see we have case 0, case 1, case 2, and default. But we also have this edit button, which we've seen for you guys that have seen the UI tools. And Game Seekers, we're going to look at the UI tool next. So once we get done with this switch tool, we're going to check out the UI tool. Also a very awesome new feature. Anyway, where was I? All right, so we have the cases here. But we can edit, and we go into edit. We can see here that we can add new cases, as many as we want. I'm sure there's probably a limit here, but you can add a lot of cases here, right? You can also edit the values in these cases, and the values will come into play. Whoops, we go back up here into the mode of the switch. So we have the integer switch, which is what it's on by default. And here it's looking for whole numbers, integers, right? So it's looking for 0, 1, 2, and 3. If the input value matches 0, 1, 2, or 3, it's going to send its output links accordingly. If we do decimal range switch, now it's including decimals, and these cases are now the range between the case and the case before it. So if we go in here, we can see case 0 doesn't have a range because it's just 0. But then the case 1 that has the range from 0 to 1, case 2 from 1 to 2, case 3 from 2 to 3. And again, we can edit these values. So obviously in this case, we don't want a 0 there because that's not going to do anything. There's no range. But if we change all of these to be 1 higher, maybe we make this one 2 higher, maybe we make this one 10, right? And then we're done. So now we have ranges here. Case 0 is 0 to 1. Case 1 is 1 to 2. Case 2 is 2 to 4. Case 3 is 4 to 10. And now anytime the input value is anywhere within one of those ranges, it's going to send its output, right? And again, we can put multiple outputs here. So this one, very cool. For example, probably a really common usage for this is going to be player animations, right? So you could input the speed of the player, like how fast is the player moving, and then accordingly change the animation or even the animation speed. You know, for example, you know, with the values we have here, we probably would want to adjust these values a little bit, but we could say from 0 to 1, we want an idle animation, right? The guy's just chilling. From 1 to 2, we want a walking animation. The guy starts to walk. 2 to 4, we get a jog animation. 4 to 10, we get the run animation, right? So stuff like that. Much easier now with this than it would have been previously. And then finally, in the switch here, well, I'm also gonna turn off this orthogonal. In the switch here, we have probability distribution. And if this sounds a little scary to you, don't worry, it sounded a little scary to me too. This sounds like some crazy math stuff, but it's actually quite simple and quite useful. So what the probability distribution is here, see if we just close this as it is, keep the values the same, is it's actually now become a random number generator, more or less, but it's going to output things based on this probability. So for example here, you can see the percentages here are our weight 10 is going to be much more, you're going to be much more likely to get that as an output than our weight 1, which is only 5.9%. Weight 10 is 58.8%. And of course, these percentages are going to change as we change the values in here. If we bring these down to something a little more closer, our probability distribution is going to be a lot closer. So now we got 10, 20, 30, 40. The one thing is these percentages are always going to add up to 100, right? No matter how many more cases you add. The percentages are always going to equal 100, right? That's how percentages work. 100% is everything. So this is really cool. For example, I can show actually a case where we would probably use this. So let's go to my hype. This hype I put out recently, the merge ball, right? So we turn on the logic view here in merge ball, and we can go up and see this is the logic that controls what ball spawns next. So right now there's 4 potential balls you can throw here. So right now we have the blue ball, right? I'm going to throw it, and then the next ball is going to pop up. It's going to be a yellow ball, and we can get any of the 4 from the blue, green, yellow, and orange. And right now it's just randomly deciding, right? I'm sending an interval to a random data source, and that's sending, like I just described, to each of these compares. And then whichever one is true is spawning the next ball that you're going to throw, right? But say we wanted that, but right now it's completely even, right? It's totally random, equal probability to be any of the 4 balls. But say we want it to be instead, we actually want, let's snap to grid here, my favorite. We actually want the blue balls to come more often than the orange balls, right? So now we're going to go in here, we're going to edit, we're going to make this probability. We need 4 cases. And again, we don't want to have 0 because in this case, 0 is 0%. That means it's never going to come, right? So we're going to change these 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then, so now our lowest probability right here, 10%, we want that to be the orange ball. So we're going to execute now this look at, which is holding the orange ball. And then we're going to do the same for each one. This is now the yellow ball. This is the green ball. And this is the blue ball. And so now, whoops. So now we have a 40% chance of getting the blue ball, only a 10% chance of getting the orange ball. If we replace this, we're no longer going to execute that random. We're just going to execute the switch. And now when we play, we're going to see, as I throw, I'm going to get a lot more blue balls. There's a green, which is fine. Blue again. Got an orange right away. That was lucky, though. I'm going to say that was really lucky because those probabilities are a bit higher than I would actually set them if I was doing this. But we're getting the green ball. We got a green ball again. Green ball again. I'm actually surprised how few times we've gotten the blue ball. Of course, that's the thing with random, is it's still random. But if we just sit here, I'm not going to do it, obviously, we spent a long time. If we sit here and we throw this ball 100 times, we've only thrown it 9 times here, we're going to see that we're going to get blue more than anything else. And then we're going to get green more than the yellow and orange, and so on. So that's one really useful case for this. Another one might be, we can go back here to the Space Mine Exodus, turn on the logic view, and sorry, this one is a little bit of a mess of spaghetti. But if we, nope, it's not in there. Where do I have it? Is it in here? Yes. So here I have what I was describing. Again, a random generator that's going to all of these different compares, and then those are deciding what sound to play if the player is killed, right? So we have all these cartoon ouches, and then at the end we have the Wilhelm. And now what I would use this for in this case is, in general, I want this to be pretty random, right? I don't necessarily need any probability difference between all of these normal cartoon ouches. But the Wilhelm is a little special. I don't want the Wilhelm to come up too often because then it gets a little repetitive. It's a very recognizable sound. So in this case, I could probably leave this random, right? We're going to say, we're going to get rid of this last compare link. Get rid of that. And then we're going to add in our switch filter. Sorry, I keep calling this a switch filter. It's called just a switch. I've worked in another editor where a similar tool was called the switch filter. I'm going to have to unlearn that in my old brain. It might take me a minute or two. But switch, it's the same thing. Hey, Judd, what's happening? Welcome to the stream. Sound preview button. Yes, I believe previously this was just a switch in here. It was a switch that you could turn. Now it's an actual button you can press, and we can hear the lovely Wilhelm scream, right? That we don't want to hear every single time the guy is killed. So now we're going to say, instead of automatically just going to this random, it's being triggered by this broadcaster, right? We're going to get rid of this. We're going to go to the switch here. We're going to execute the switch. Our switch is going to be, again, we're going to do probability distribution. But in this case, we actually only need 2 cases. Because I'm not using this for the number of outputs you can give, which is awesome. Totally cool. But really, I just want to give the Wilhelm a much lower probability from any of the other ones. So we're going to confirm that, and we're going to see here now we have for weight 1, 9.1%. For weight 10, we have 90.9%, right? So weight 10 is going to, as we were previously, it's just going to execute this random. And the random is going to decide which cartoon ouch we get. But that 9.1% of the time, we're just going to go ahead and execute the Wilhelm scream. We don't need this compare anymore. So now, of course, when we play, I'm going to just really quickly, so we don't have to hear it. I'm just going to turn these. Is this? Yeah. Wait, that was turning it off? Anyway, whatever. They should be disabled now. No, it's not. Where's that music coming from? I have another music note here somewhere. Oh, it's there. Don't need it. And disable. Okay. All right. Seems really quiet. Can you guys even hear that? It's really quiet to me. Yeah. Game input there. Which one's controlling that? Sounds a little bit better. I think it was this one. It's just really quiet. Anyway. Anyway, it works. You can trust me. We could test that a lot of times and potentially not get the 𝙎𝙬 because I made it so that the 𝙎𝙬 comes very infrequently. And now I think that's kind of the basics of the Switch. Before we move on, does anybody have questions about the Switch? Obviously, a lot more uses than what I just demonstrated here. A very useful tool. A very useful tool that, as we've shown, can save you a lot of tools. Like, potentially, we don't need any of these compares or this random to get this to do what we want it to do, right? We could use just this one tool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Can you change the percentage? Yes, you can change the percentage by changing the value in here. So, like, right now we have 1 and 10. If I change this to 5 and 10, we're going to see the percentage changes there. I don't know the exact math that's going on to determine that percentage. It's some probability mathematics that Shogun did not learn. But luckily, the tool does it for me, so I don't need to learn it. I just need to know how the tool works. And then again, as I showed earlier, if we add more cases, that's also going to change the percentages. But I mean, actually, it kind of makes pretty basic sense there. So we have 5 and 10, which combined would be 15, right? And 5 is 33.3% of 15. 10 is 66.7% of 15. So I guess that's what's going on there. Well, I don't know about that, Sticky. Obviously, this tool has other... This tool is basically a more robust compare. The compare is a very simplified thing, whereas this can be quite complex. But they are doing similar tools. They are doing similar functions. I don't know if it would make sense to put them together, keep them separate. But certainly, if you just want to do a single compare, you don't need all that extra stuff in the Switch. And there's plenty of times where you just need to compare two values really quickly and easily. But let's move on now to the UI editor. I actually already have one here in this hype, but again, I think we're going to go and look at we're going to just create a brand new hype here so that we can look at load me my cool camera angle. We can look at what the UI is doing without any other stuff. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go down to meta. We're going to bring in this UI tool. UI, whoops. Oh, what did it do with that? Okay. UI, if you do not know, stands for user interface, which it says right there. And this is basically anything you see on the screen that's not part of the game world, right? So you have buttons, you have controllers, you have scores. Anything like that is considered UI. And previously, if you wanted to add that stuff, you'd have to go in here, and you would add it all individually. I'd add a button here, and whatnot. I can add the text tool. Where is the text tool? There it is. And these can go, you know, these can be placed on kind of like predetermined portions of the screen, right? So I can take this text tool, I can decide if it's going to be at the left, center, or right, and then I can decide if it's going to be at the top, center, or bottom. And then I can determine, and then I can set between a few kind of preset sizes here. But I think a lot of you that have been using this for a while, you probably know that this is fairly limited what you can do with these. The text tool, of course, you can also show in the 3D environment, which gives it a little more potential. But if you want to actually use it as UI where it's not part of the game world, it's pretty limited what you can do with it. So the UI tool changes that. Gives you much more control over all these things. So again, again, we have the edit button there like we just saw on the Switch. So we hit edit and it brings up this whole new menu here where we can edit our UI. So we see at the bottom here, we have some preset layouts. We have button, we have text, we have progress bar. We cannot currently put a joystick into the UI. I don't know if that's going to be coming. We also have here a bunch of pre-made things. We have number pad, like we could just throw in there a number pad. Fighting game health bars, health and mana bars, all this stuff. Of course, we don't want any of that. I'm just gonna delete that and make a new one instead of trying to undo all that stuff. We're just gonna go put a few things one by one so we can really see like what we can do with this. So let's say, first of all, you know, let's say I think probably a limitation that some of you guys have maybe run into was you want to have multiple buttons, right? Say you're making an adventure game, you want to have, obviously you have your joystick on one side. Over here, you got your joystick. Over here, previously, you could only put one button, right? So if you wanted to have like jump and shoot, you had to come up with some weird kind of control scheme for that. But now if we want to, we can go here. We're going to say we want this to be a round button. We're going to go here in the text. We're going to call this jump. And then we're going to place this. We can kind of move it around manually here. We also have a bunch of kind of little controls around the edge. We can scale, resize. This is giving some... I like to do this part in the menu here. But so we can go here. But then if we go in the properties, we can be really precise about all this stuff. So say we want to be super precise about our width. Say we want 100 by 100. We got our nicely sized. And then we can also change the X and the X and the Y coordinates. But a big thing in here that's really important when you're doing custom UI is this alignment. So we bring up the alignment and we can see here that it's showing kind of different screen regions. And basically what this is going to do is, obviously HypeHype is available on many different devices. I'm playing on a tablet right now. I could pick it up and I could start playing it on my phone, which are vastly different shaped screens, right? I have here is essentially a 4x5 screen, and this is like it's even taller than 9x16. I don't know what the exact proportions are of this tall iPhone, but it's tall. So what this alignment does is it determines kind of like where the anchor point of your UI element is. So say we're putting these buttons, we want these buttons to be in the lower right hand corner. So we're going to hit this lower right hand alignment. And that's going to mean that the values we look at here, the right margin, the bottom margin, it's always going to be that distance, 118 from the bottom, 244 from the right, no matter what size screen you're looking at, right? And then now, I don't know if we can... No. All right. So now I want to throw another one, right? So we're going to throw another button here. Again, we want it to be a circle. And then we already know we're going to want it to be 100 by 100. I'm going to place it down here somewhere like that. Again, we're going to set our alignment to that lower right-hand corner. And where's the name? We're going to change the name to shoot. So now we have jump and shoot, right? So now if we exit out of here and we hit play, we have our jump button, we have our shoot button. Of course, they're not doing anything yet because I haven't connected them to anything. And that's here. So here in the tool now, you can see we have button 2 on start, button 3 on start. Probably in here, we want to name these, right? So this button 2, we also want to call this jump so that we know what button it is. And same with this one, button 3, we're going to call shoot. And that way we know what the inputs and outputs it's using. And we can go here and we can decide by default, it's just giving us the output from this button, right? But if we want to, maybe there's certain circumstances where we want to change some of these colors. So we can go to the inputs and outputs here, and we can say, enable inputs. We want to be able to change the background color, the text color, the border color, whether or not the button is visible. We want to be able to dynamically change all of that during gameplay. Plus, you know, right now we're just using on start. Maybe we want something to happen when we release the button as well. And then, of course, you have a bunch of other states here. And then you even have some object filters here. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what those do. But that's not directly related to what we're talking about at the moment. So we're not going to worry about it right now. We can also go up in here. We can change the border width. So right now our border is really thin. Maybe we want to make that thicker. Now we have a thicker border around our button. Oh, we have copy style, paste style. That's nice. So I guess we can copy the style. And then we can paste it to our other button. Sweet. That's nice. I'm still learning this. I've used this a little bit, but I am definitely still learning this tool. But then we also have, so in addition to buttons, we can do, for example, progress bar. We looked at this one previously. Progress bar is really nice. It has tons of different functions. So as you can see here, I can resize the progress bar. I can make it up. I can make it like really tall, or I can make it really wide. And then in the properties here, so I can determine which way is the progress bar going, right? So this kind of horizontal progress bar, like we probably want it to go to the right. So right is full, left is empty. And then we have our amounts in here. So the current amount is 0.5 out of 1. And we can see there that it's just halfway. If we were to raise this 1 to like 10 and leave a 0.5, obviously we can see there that it's really low. You know, for example, if this is going to be a health bar, we would want it to start at 10. The max amount is 10, right? And then again, just like with before, we can do the alignment. Like maybe we probably want this to be aligned with the top of the screen if we're going to put it up towards the top somewhere. Again, we can change manually our width, our height, and then the precise positioning with this X and top margin. And you'll see, like, as you change these, it's X and Y if we do alignment in the center. But if you're doing it on an edge, one of those is gonna reference the margin instead of the X or Y. And then again, we have inputs and outputs. So in this one, obviously we want the input to be the amount. We're going to want to be able to adjust that on the fly. In this case, you know, maybe again, we want to do some stuff with the colors. So we might turn those on. The progress bar has no outputs. So it's just inputs with this one. And again, so we close this. And now we see that we have, these are all of our inputs, the ones that are gray, and then all of our outputs, these ones that are white. So we could say on jump start, let's just really quickly create a little bit of logic here. Let's just grab a force. We're going to target it to this box. Is this box dynamic? It is. And so we're going to say on the jump on start, boom, we want to execute that button, right? And then we're going to say shoot, just so that we can see it doing something. Let's say on shoot start, we're going to change the H in the HypeHype to white. And then because we put it there on shoot end, we'll change the H back to black. So now if we play, boom, jump, we jump, shoot, white, release, black. Just like a normal button, but now it exists within this UI tool. And then same for the, let's just do like an interval here. Obviously this, we probably wouldn't do this if this was a health bar, but we're just gonna go here and we're gonna say, we want the progress bar amount, and we're gonna do one there. Why is that not giving me a math operation? Yeah, because that's not what we want. We don't want it to immediately jump. We want it to subtract. So I guess, I don't know if that's a bug or if that is intended functionality. But what we'll do is, so we're going to put our 10 in here. This is going to output to the progress bar amount. And then this is going to not, and we're going to adjust our value in the variable here. So we're going to say output value 1, subtract. And so now if we put this on loop, we're going to see in 10 seconds, that is going to go, oh, is it not execute? Oh, this isn't. Where did I output there? I thought I did this. Oh, I forgot to hit that X, that check, didn't I? Okay, so now 10 seconds, boom, 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 and so on and so forth. And Hypesy says the left and right side anchors useful for racing and other types of games. And yeah, definitely. That's why you have in here quite a few of these alignment options. You can even do like the full left side or full screen even. But like one thing we'll see, obviously in this case, we're not going to, if I put some bad value in there, aha, we can look at that really quickly. So if you put two nodes on top of each other, it's basically going to try and combine those. So it's essentially, it's another way of pulling a link between two things. So if you're used to, you know, whether you're used to pulling links from here, if you're like me, I like to pull links from the details panel. Now you have another option. You can just drag two things together and it's going to ask you how you want to connect them. Thank you, Darkshade. Welcome. Okay. Now, obviously, there's a lot you can do with this. I can just go show the one thing that I've done with it so far, which was, again, in this one. So at the top here, I have fuel, which is these gems that we collect are the fuel. And then I also have oxygen that is slowly deteriorating as you go and collect these gems. And then I also even did here, it has started. As the oxygen gets low, it starts to go red. And if I let it go all the way, it's going to go all the way red. And my guy's going to start crawling. Did I make it? I still made it. All right, so that was the UI tool. You guys got any more questions about the UI tool? I do my best to answer them. Oh, I guess there was one thing I didn't show, which actually I'll go back to that. Let's go cancel here. Let's go back to this guy. Is the ability to resize text, which is super nice in the UI tool. Because just like everything, you can get much more precise about how your text placement is. So I have this fuel and this oxygen, which are very small and inside those progress bars. So like we go to the text here, right? And now we see we have text size is a parameter that we have in the text tool. So we can make these even smaller. 0.3, super small. I got it at 0.4 there. We can make it bigger. So you can manually put that in, and then again, all these same things. Well, with the text, the width and the height is kind of determined by the size of the text. So you can change these values if you turn off the automatic width and height, but the text itself is still going to stay the size that you have set in here. So I guess there's probably some situations where you want it to be able to kind of manually set the size. But I think most of the time you're probably just going to want to adjust this value in the size when it comes to text. But you can see there that as I was changing the size, we've messed up the position a little bit. So I can just kind of drag that right back down to where I want it to be, and everything's gravy. Hey, Buck in the house. What's happening, my man? Long time no see. Okay, so is anybody, before we move on from here, any questions about the UI tool? Again, I'll do my best to answer them. I might not know all of the answers. Let's bring the beat back, DJ. So this one, nice. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. All right, so I guess the next thing we're going to look at here is, let's see, should go work on something interesting. Well, there was a request made to change the controls on this particular hype. So right now the controls are it's not auto save anything that I've done so far. But right now, like you watched me play this earlier, the controls are you're touching the ball to move it, right? And on the tablet, it works pretty well. But I guess on the phone, some of the smaller balls can be a little difficult to grab onto properly. So Johannes here at Frogmind asked me if I could change that into a situation where I could drag anywhere on screen. So let's do that really quickly. We're going to go over here. Unfortunately, I have a ton of variations of all these balls. But we only need to worry about 4 of them. The 4 that can be spawned, which are these throw ones. So ball 2, ball 3, ball 4, throw. And the blue ball only has 1 variation. Although... yeah, okay, because there's no blue balls in there. Perfect. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to look at how this is working. So we have the object touch here. On touch end, it's doing a few things. And then obviously, it's using this drag camera. But we're going to change that into, I believe we're going to want to make this a transform. So let's turn our snapping on here. And we want it to be pointing that way. Yes. And then we're going to want to use... not sure if I want to use touch or gesture. No, we don't want gesture. We want touch. I don't use these tools a whole lot. And then we're going to want to be looking at the X value. I think we're going to need to give this a little bit more of a range. Let's say -4 to 4. And then the X value is going to be output to the amount in the transform. Transform is going to execute, or is going to be moving the ball. We do want it to affect physical. Translate, yes. This X is going to be sending its values there. Execute. And then we also want to have on touch end, we need to match what we have currently in this on touch end. So we're executing this broadcaster. We're turning off the object touch. In this case, we're going to be turning off the screen touch. We're unlocking the linear limiting on the Y angle, and we're turning off, yes, the particle effect. So in here, we're going to go on touch end. Oh, God, I forgot already what the first one was. What was the first one in there? The broadcaster. Okay. So on touch end, we're executing this broadcaster. We are setting off this particle effect. Oh, no, we're not setting off that particle effect. We want this to be off. We're turning off that particle effect. We are physical activation, limit Y off. And then finally, we're turning the activation of that off. And we'll go in here. For now, I'm not going to get rid of this yet, but we're going to say disabled. And I think there's... let's see. Let's see if that works. So we start with the blue ball. Doesn't seem to be doing anything at the moment. Let's see what I messed up. This is on. Maybe we want to use absolute coordinates. No, we don't want to use absolute coordinates. We want that value range. Yeah, time zones are a problem. We're kind of on the early side of the world here in Finland. If you live, you know, kind of in Western Europe or the United States, Canada, South America, I guess quite early. Of course, if you live the other direction, it starts to get a lot later. All our friends in the Philippines, what's up, homies? I know it's quite late for them. But yeah, time zones, they can be a doozy. What am I missing here? It's not this, is it? Oh, I know what I'm missing. These two things are not in my container. God. Oops. Now they're in the container. I'm pretty sure I did not want that to be on. Now it should work. No, the on release worked, but the drag didn't work. Huh. So my release functions are working. It's enabled. Fix physical. What if we do local transform? Oh, why? Oh, that's why. I'm dummy. This has gone to execute for some reason when I need this to go to amount. Yes. So now let's, I think we don't need that on local. All right. But there's still something wrong there. Maybe I do need that relative to start position. No, that's not it. Let's try the absolute. No, that's not it. Come on, I had this working before. How's it not working now? Oh, how did that value get all messed up? Did I do that? We want -4 to 4. That's why it got all wonky. There we go. So now we can drag anywhere on the screen here, and we're dragging our ball. Excellent. Of course, that is only active on that one blue ball, not on this yellow ball. So if I want to make that work for all these, I need to now repeat that logic on this green ball, this yellow ball, and this orange ball. Which I think I will not necessarily bore you guys with right now, since I just did it and you watched me do it. I can do that later, which means I'm actually not going to save this because I don't want to have mixed controls in this hype. But we'll go back. I'll go back and fix that later. Oh, and hey, look at that. We're only like halfway through the stream here. So if you guys have, I think we can, there was one more thing I was going to show you. I totally forgot. I got distracted by that merge ball thing. I was supposed to be showing you something else while I did that. So let's go back in here. Let's go to edit. What happens if I load this autosave? What's it going to load for me? Is it going to have that stuff I just did? It is. Okay. So the other new feature that I'm meant to talk about today is editor live streaming. So we have a feature now where you can live stream your editor session within the HypeHype app, right? So we can see here this new icon up here in the corner, right there. It's this little chat bubble. If I click on that, these two icons come up. We have the minus, which I can just hide it, and then we have the eyeball. If I click on that, click on the eyeball. There we go. Now I am streaming this live stream session, right? So now anybody can come in, watch what I'm doing, and chat with me while I'm doing it. So let's do another one of these. I am going to do this now so that people can come and watch me do it in app if they wish to. So we're going to need this touch node again. Line that up nicely. We're going to need the transform again. Line that up nicely. Boom. And then before I even do anything else, I'm going to throw those into the container so I don't forget to. And then we had a few things here. We had no, not 47. -4 to 4. And I think actually, let's test that blue again. I think we might need to raise that a little bit. No, we can go all the way to the wall. Perfect. So we're going to attach here, and there's Potato-chan in my session. What's up, buddy? Obviously, we're going to attach to the ball again. Yep. And then I can go here and I can chat myself. Say what up to Potato-chan. All right, now where was I? I always distract myself and then I forget what I'm doing. And I also get my mouth too far away from this microphone. Anyway, so we're back in here. X again, we're gonna change to the translation amount. Boom, perfect. And then on end, we had, I gotta remember what this did. It did, oh, it was not in there. Oh, there was one thing to do in there. On end, we go to the physical activation, limit Y, off. On end, we execute this broadcaster. On end, we execute that particle effect. And on end, we turn off the touch component. And there we go. So now the green ball should have the same logic as the blue ball. We'll continue here. Do it again. Now, transform. And touch. Rotate this boy. Target it to the ball. Oh, you know what I need to do here, though, in the green? I need to disable this object touch. I should just delete it entirely, but for now, until I know that this new control scheme is working, I don't want to get rid of my old control scheme. So I'm just disabling it. And now we're going to do the same thing in here. We can see some more people coming in, joining the session, leaving the session. This goes to the amount. Yes. And then on touch end, we're going execute the broadcaster. Execute the particle effect. Turn off that Y. No, not physical material. Turning off that Y limiting. And finally, we're turning off the touch component. And then, did I do it? I did not. Put these in the container. Boom. I think so. Did I miss a comment? I was just seeing a bunch of joined leave sessions, so I wasn't sure if somebody said something to me. Anyway, so that's in the container now. Let's do it one more time for our lovely friends watching at home. Boom. Touch. This one's laid out a little bit differently. Hopefully it doesn't confuse me too much. Transform. Boom, boom, boom. Targeted to the ball. This, we're going to go -4 to +4. And that goes to the amount. Yes. And again, on touch end, we're executing that broadcaster. Whoops. On touch end, we're executing that particle effect. On touch end, we are turning off the Y limiting. And finally, we're turning off the touch component. And then one last check. Yep. Throw these in the container. Make sure object touch is off there. Did I turn it off in this one? No, I didn't. But I turned it off there. Yes. And it's already off here. Yes. So now I've fixed the controls for this, hopefully. Excellent. Seems to be working just fine. Okay. All right. So now that concludes my prepared content for today's stream. I will save this now that we've fixed that that control scheme. Although there's quite a bit more I would like to do to this particular hype. And actually, I think that switch is going to help me out with some of the stuff that I want to do. But I need to think about it up here before I jump in and do stuff, especially with all you guys watching me. Oh, and I left the editor session, which means, of course, that live stream ended for everybody that was watching. So if you were there and you got kicked out, sorry. But hopefully you're here and you're hanging out with me. You can hear me talk and you can see my awesome face. It is a thing, right? So now I ask again, does anybody have any editor questions? Anything you would like me to check out, to show, to demonstrate? I'm also happy to check out hypes if you got something you've built and you want me to play it. All right, let's check out Banana Maze 2 from 𝙎𝙪𝙧𝙚𝙪. I vaguely remember this one. This is a really old hype. It's probably going to have some old spaghetti logic in it, unless, of course, 𝙎𝙪𝙧𝙚 has done some updates to it. But let's find out. It's this one. All right, so we're going to hit remix so we can go in here and we can look at the logic. Whoops. Right away, I'm moving stuff I don't want to be moving. Okay, so yes, we got some pretty epic spaghetti here. So this is the basic controls. You tap the thing, and again, here's a case. We have 5 nodes here, which this could all be handled by one switch filter. Let's go though. The question was about green. Okay, so the green, I think this is a pretty simple piece of logic. So we have the force here, right, is pointed in the direction that this green thing is going to shoot the ball when it gets to it. And I assume here in the collision trigger, I'm going to guess before we look. My assumption is that the collision trigger is sending the target to the force, also activating the force. There might only be one connection in this collision trigger. Let's find out. Oh, we got 2. All right, we got 2 connections. So we've got an interval here, which is also in the box, and then we do have the force. And then this says broken, probably because this is old. But if we go, let's just delete this. We're going to send this, and we're going to say target, right? Because so basically what it's doing is it's giving the object that it collides with. So not the cube itself, but the object that sets off the collision, which is going to be the ball. It's giving that to the force as the target. So the ball becomes the target for the force with the collision trigger. And then in here, this interval, what is this thing doing? Okay, the interval turns off, I guess, the force? Huh. I guess it's executing the force. So the target was, I guess, previously not executing. So if we go turn that as a not executing link. Let's see if is this the first one that we get to? Yeah, let's test it. So yeah, there's a slight delay there, basically, I guess, so that the ball doesn't jump immediately upon hitting the cube. You get a slight delay there from when it hits the cube to when it jumps. Yeah, I think that was a little tricky for me to wrap my head around at first too, is when you use a collision trigger and you send a target through the collision trigger, the target that it's sending is not the object that's holding the collision trigger, it's the object that it collided with. So in this case, the ball. You know, if it was the other way around and the ball had the collision trigger in it and then sent the target to the force, then it would be sending the cube to the force, and weird shenanigans would probably ensue. I'm always down to give it a try, Ryan. So you got a question, please hit me with a question. I love trying to answer questions. And yours are usually a little difficult, which is fun. It's fun for me, I promise. But yeah, that targeting thing, that can come in really handy. Like once I kind of wrapped my head around that, I started using it like quite a bit. One thing that it's really good for, actually, in that hype that we were just looking at, the merge balls. Basically, when these balls hit each other, let's go to the edit here, turn the logic on. So we have these two value inspectors. One is inspecting the ball itself, but what happens is when it collides with another ball of the same color, it gives that ball to this second value inspector through collision trigger, right? So it's sending set as source, same this target, to this, and then once it has those two values, it can now compare those values and decide which one turns into the bigger ball, right? Because otherwise, if I just had these colliding and then spawning a new ball based on collisions, both balls would spawn a new ball. That's not what we want in this case. We would just the game would immediately end as soon as you made one, because it's just going to spawn two balls. Those two are going to combine, spawn the next one. Those two are going to combine. So I don't know that the way that I set this up is necessarily the best way, but it's essentially comparing the speed of the two balls, and whichever one is moving faster is the one that spawns a new ball. So I don't know if there's YouTube delay or if Ryan is just typing us a really long question. Let's find out. Oh, hey, is this? Oh, this is still on. No, it's not. It's just showing me, right? Because it should be red if it was on. Anyway, we don't need to do anything in here. I think actually there was, oh, there it goes. When the stamina runs out, the players sometimes freak out. All right. Well, good thing I'm on my profile, because I'm going to need to turn on my admin features so that I can look at Ryan's drafts. So let's go check out Ryan PH drafts. It was his first one with the inventory. That's the last one I remember checking out from you. When the stamina runs out, the player sometimes freaks out. Can't find the source of the problem. So let's open this up in the editor. Let's turn on our logic. You got so many UIs going on here. All right. You have health. Alarm is the health. This is the stamina. Let's see what it looks like when we play. Huh. Where am I? The last thing I remember is that I got knocked out by someone. Oh, I couldn't read that. I'm too slow. Okay, anyway. So Ryan's got a cool system here where we can interact with things. All right, there's the stamina. How do I, what do I have to do to make the stamina go down? And I already don't remember what I needed to do to get this lockpick so that I can get out of here. Is it in my bag? Oh, I do have it. Okay. Boom. Open the door. Uh-oh. Nothing useful. Broken down vehicle. Blue button is run. Okay. Oh, so that's the stamina. Okay. All right, so you use the stamina, you can run. And then sometimes you're saying when the stamina runs out, it freaks out. Let's see if we can make it happen. At least so far, I'm not getting it. But you did say it was kind of rare. Okay, well, it would be kind of nice to know how he freaks out. It might kind of help us know what to look for here. But we can still kind of go and investigate the logic and see if we can figure out what the problem is. Okay, so now where is your stamina? What's holding the stamina value? I see alarm, I see health. Is it this one maybe? This is the blue button, yes. Okay, so here we go. We got the blue button. It's activating executors to either decrease or increase the value in the variable here. All right, and I think I kind of had a feeling that that might be what's happening, and the issue probably is going to be with these compares. So let's see what we have here. We have greater or equal to 20, which is full stamina, and I assume, oh no, it's not full stamina. It's like 20% stamina, but that's when the button turns back on. Perfect. Seems to be fine. So here we have less or equal to 0. If it's less or equal to 0, you set the value to 0, which makes sense. You turn off the button, also makes sense. And you change the speed back to normal speed. Makes sense. And then this is saying greater or equal to 100. So this is if it's at max. And this, again, sets the value to 100 because you don't want it to be over 100 or less than 0. So those both make sense. But that might be where your problem is coming from. So what I assume is happening is in this one, which is when you hit 0, Should now... I think these might be where you're having some issue here. So these are both, or this one at least is always on, at least at the start, right? And so I guess this is the one that's increasing the value. Yes, and this is the one that's decreasing the value. You can use add negative value, it's just as good as subtract positive value. But I think probably what you want to have here is also when you hit 0, you want to turn this guy off. Or is this, wait, this was the, not this one. When you hit 0, you want to turn this one off. Because I assume probably what's happening, I don't know for sure, but I would guess what's happening is that when you hit 0, this changes this to 0, but then this keeps continuing to try and subtract it. Maybe. Not 100%. Because, of course, I didn't see exactly what happens when it freaks out. But here we have on start, on end. So when you stop, this is the subtractor. So when you release, that also should turn off the executor, right? On end is turning on the one that adds stamina back. Turning off the one, yes. And then also this guy I think should just be off, right? By default. Maybe not. Maybe you do need that on at first. But I mean, without knowing exactly what happens, this is the first place where my mind goes, is that these compares and these executors are somehow fighting with each other. When you just click the button, what do you mean when you just click the button? Like this one. Oh, that. Okay. So what is that doing now? That's really strange. Could it be one of these broadcasters doing something? What do these broadcasters do? Running, walking. All right, so those are changing the animation. But where do we have those listeners? Are they in here? Oh, they're in the player controls, I guess. So where are our player controls? Locks, that's cool. We've got an inventory there. Where are you hiding these player controls at, though? There they are. Okay. So let's see what we have in here. We have running and walking. So we want to see enable, disable, game fail, game success, running. You don't have a walking in here. Where's the walking listener? right, so this executes this interval. And the interval just does a sound. Okay. Where's this link going? Oh, here. Here's your walking. Way over there. Let's bring this homeboy back. All right, and this guy is also, so these are just changing the duration on this interval, which is adjusting the sound, the speed of this sound, I guess, or the frequency that the sound is executed to determine for walking speed or running speed. Makes perfect sense. Okay. And they're not doing anything else. So those don't seem to be the source of that problem. That's really strange. Essentially what it looks like is it looks like somehow something is losing its physical body, right? If we just tap it, the guy falls through the ground. And then he comes back. Let's just go in. Well, first let's look at this guy. Nothing is affecting his physics. Let's go back into the ground here. Let's check out the reference object. Nothing is controlling its physics. We have some limit angular movement. Stabilizer. I don't think that should cause this problem, but maybe. Stabilizer is one that I still don't fully understand everything that it does. But I'm wondering if that might play into this. I'm probably going to have to show this to somebody else. Yeah, it seems like when you're moving, you know, like, because even if it happens and then we move, it brings you back up. So it kind of makes sense that it wouldn't happen. Whoops. Aha, and there we got this situation where it ended up going below 0 and is now stuck below 0. Is that the issue that you were having, or is that something I caused by messing with the logic? Oh, what is this? Oh my goodness. That's wild. I guess that part's unfinished. What did I add here? I added this. Yeah. I think another problem you are going to have here is that I don't know if it's a problem, but you know, say you get a value in here, you know, basically anything that's over 100 is good. That's going to give you a positive outcome on this one. Is also going to give you a positive outcome on this one, right? Because anything over 100 is also greater than 20. But I think that's turning the button on, and that's just setting the value in the variable. So that shouldn't really be a problem. Which one was adding again? This one was adding. So you definitely, I would think, when this executes, you want to turn this guy off, I would think. And then same with this one. When we hit 0, we want to turn this one off. And it automatically disables the button, right? Which I guess should turn that executor on, should turn that executor off, changes the speed, executes the broadcaster. Yeah, that should work. I don't necessarily see in the logic here what would get it stuck below 0. It seems like that shouldn't happen. Yeah, that's really weird. One thing you might do just for that, if you're not going to have any, if all of this is going to be at the same level, right? You could just lock the Y on this guy. You won't be able to go up or down. So if you want to have some verticality in this level, then that's not going to work. But if everything's going to be on this same plane that it's currently on, that probably should help. Oh, it still happens. That's really weird. Something weird's going on there. I'm gonna have to show that to somebody else. I have no idea what's going on there. I'm sorry. You're putting together a pretty complex hype here, man. So I mean, props for that. Like, this is some ambitious stuff you're going for here. And I would say so far it seems like it's working pretty well. You're having a weird bug here, which I'm still convinced might be related to the stabilizer, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to a bigger brain than me. Just curious if we turn off the stabilizer. Probably the guy's just gonna fall over when we start walking. Whoa, he's super speed because he's not being dampened anymore. But it does seem, well, because he's kind of keeps moving. Is that little kind of like twitchy? Is that the freak out you were getting previously? Because definitely something is going on there while I'm tapping that button. But he's not fall. Oh, there he goes. Spoke too soon. He's not falling through the ground. Let's turn this back on. You definitely want that dampening. What do we have in here? We have a rotate transform. We have another rotate transform. We have a ray cast. We have a force. We have another force. This is this a jump? This guy has jump mechanics in him? No jump. Okay, that's cool. We have up here is object storage. Okay. What if we look at the guy? Oops. Player. Look at his player controls. Jump. Okay. Okay. But was there jump in this pre-made? There is jump in this pre-made. That's what this is controlling. And it's getting its amount from the reusable container here. But it's not getting negative values, and it's pointing up, so it shouldn't be pushing the guy down. Yeah, I'm a little stumped with this one. I probably need to spend some more time with it and probably ask somebody smarter than me. All right, I think we're going to stop looking at this one now. I apologize I did not solve this problem for you. But maybe gave a few things to think about. And I'll try and look at this a little bit more offline and show it to some of the guys, again, smarter than me, and see if they can figure out what's wrong with it. But this is really cool stuff. Very ambitious. Respect. Respect for even trying it, because that's going to take some work. Not going to save any of that. And so now there was a set of, is that, am I spelling that wrong? Somebody tell me that name that I was just trying to type incorrectly. 𝙎𝙧𝙬𝙬. The buff army. Yes, let's look at it. I love it. That's great. Well, we need to get you guys a left hand, though. Is Yelp still there in the chat? Yelp, what's the screen name that I was misspelling there? The hype we were looking at before you went to lunch with Henry. There it's OU. I was doing it UO. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. So we're gonna play this one. It was suggested that this would be good stream hype to play. Do we not have any volume in this one? Whoa, what's up with that camera too?
Home, sweet home.
Home, sweet home. There's a pig in there.
My puppies are hungry. I should find food. The food is in front of my house.
This camera rotation is insane. Where's this food at? It already told me it's not back here. It said in front. Oh, is it, am I going to feed this pig to these dogs? Puppies love pig meat. Oh, that's rude. Oh. Well, they're happy now.
Oh no, bad guys took my pink puppy.
Oh, God.
I need to find out where did bad guys go. Bad guys broke my fence. This is starting to feel like an action-adventure game, and I don't have a weapon. Yikes. Kill 5 rats, right? Without a weapon? Forget it. Run.
Oh, they hurt me.
I hate rats.
Hey, it's Ping. What's up, bud?
I am Mr. Ping. I have been expecting.
This is really
you.
quiet.
What?
You are in a hero's journey.
Okay.
And I am your mentor.
Okay.
And this town has been conquered by evil wizards.
Okay.
Do you understand? Evil wizards.
Okay.
They catch puppies.
Oh no, no puppies.
Yes, puppies.
No, no, no.
You must go and save all the puppies.
I need a weapon, and more health, and a checkpoint.
You can have a checkpoint.
What about the weapon?
Good luck, hero.
What about the weapon? What? This isn't at all how I remember this forest. Okay. A puzzle?
Whoa.
What? This isn't at all how I remember this forest. Okay. A puzzle? Plants are crazy.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No.
What? This isn't at all how I remember this forest. Okay, a puzzle? Plants are crazy.
Okay, run away. Ow. Ow. Don't run off the edge. Run away. Okay. Full hit
evil
points.
wizards.
Oh no, evil wizards. Run away. Full hit points.
This epic path is my fate, I guess. I will do anything to save those puppies.
Oh.
Oh no, where is this teleport going?
Well, I guess I'm going in this teleport. And then I have maybe a boss fight here at the end.
You shall not pass.
Seems that way.
You are just a little piece of a human.
I love the dialogue.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh, jeez. Can I make them shoot each other? Oh. Doesn't seem like it. Whoa.
Little hero.
What?
What?
You might need some help.
Okay.
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 Not you, big boy. You shall have more help.
What about the weapon?
Thank you.
Here is your weapon.
Oh, hey, a
My
weapon.
hero.
Sorry.
Now I gotta use two
This
hands.
is not fair.
Good luck, hero.
This weapon has not been glued to the bones yet. I like that effect, though. That's nice. Do I just need to go hit this guy? Did I hit him? I can't tell. There we go.
No. The puppies are now free.
Yay, puppies are free. I love
My pink
puppies.
puppy.
My pink puppy is
I
back.
missed you too, pink
Let's go,
puppy.
guys.
I'll take you home.
Oh, hey, we're back at my house. Now these other dogs have been waiting for me to come back so that they can eat their pig friend.
My puppies are home again. What an adventure.
I have some new puppies now too, dude. That was pretty enjoyable. Pretty enjoyable. Good stuff from 𝙎𝙎𝙧𝙚. All right, we got about 10 minutes left here, guys. Anything you want me to check out in the last 10 minutes of stream? Any questions you have about the editor? Now is your chance. I'm going to take a drink of my water. Quickest way to make an object visible and invisible. Well, I mean, it really kind of depends on the case, because there's many different ways you could do it. But we can go right in here. Let's not load autosave. So let's say, for example, we just want to have a button. This button doesn't necessarily need a button. It's just a way to represent an input. So the easiest way is just boom, visible, activation, visible, off. There's quite a few menus you have to click through there. But now when we hit the button, boom, invisible. Of course, it's not going to turn back on again. If we wanted to really easily be able to toggle that off and on, a toggle, of course, would be a good option. So we could say output when on, we're going to visible, activation, visible, off. And then when off, we're going to visible, activation, visible, on. And now instead of this doing the visible, we can just execute this toggle. And now we can just boom, 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 boom. There is also, for certain cases, there is the visibility tool. So we go in here, I believe it's in meta. Yeah, visibility. And then this will make it visible depending on the case, or basically what kind of state the game is in. So for example, like visible on play, visible on end screen, visible on preview. We could have, for example, put that visible on preview on, turn visible on play off. And then when we preview, like this view where we would be seeing the UI, it's visible, but then as soon as we click in, it goes invisible. Hey, Defix. If you live in the Philippines or Finland, you can download this app directly from the App Store or the Google Play Store. If you do not live in Finland or the Philippines, you can sign up for early access at HypeHype.com. It usually takes about a day or two to get new applicants access to the app, but pretty much everybody that applies is accepted. Just make sure you give me a valid email address when you fill out the application. Otherwise, I can't add you. Awesome. Thank you. We'll hold off, Ryan. I don't want to spoil your stuff before it's ready. So we'll hold off on checking that out if it's all right with you. Yeah, like in that case. I don't know if I think currently you can't there actually I think is there a way to let's see if we created another one of these and we're going to glue these to the original one. Let's ungroup this. Let's glue the HH also. And then no, we don't want that. No, I think it's just, right now they can only share physical properties. But yeah, it would be good if we had a way to do that for big glued groups. I understand your pain. But at least as far as I know, there's not an option for that yet. Boom. Let's see, I wonder if I have anything I've been working on. I don't think I really do. No, I've been trying to remake this gauntlet, but I haven't really been happy with how it's turning out. I think that hype is just too old. But I have successfully changed this to swipe controls. Swipe up to jump. But yeah, not super thrilled with how that's coming out. So I don't know if I'm going to continue that. There's much better, at this point, runners most of them endless runners as opposed to a designed level like that one was. Well, I guess it seems like that is probably going to do it for today. Oh, I never switched to the editor Q&A overlay. My bad. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today. So I'm going to say thank you very much for everybody for coming and hanging out with me. Thank you for asking questions, for talking with me while I do stuff in the editor. I hope you are as excited by some of these new editor features as I am. Because I'm pretty excited about the new features we got with this last update. If you are new to HypeHype, we have been revealed to more people today. If you haven't heard, we were in the news a little bit, and we did open up in Finland today. So if you are new to HypeHype and you want to know more about how to do stuff in HypeHype, of course you can come to our Discord. You can check out our YouTube channel. You can always check out the wiki available in the app by pressing any of these little question mark icons. But also next week on this stream, I'm going to be doing a from the start kind of how to get started stream. We're going to talk about all the basics of using the editor, how to create hypes, how to remix, how to do various things. We won't get into too much kind of the more complex tools like we were talking about this week. We're going to keep it to the basics that you need to know to get started. So if you want to come join me for that, it'll be next week, same time, same channel. 2 hours ago from right now, wherever you are in the world, is when we're going to be starting next Thursday. If you want to come hang out for that, of course, you can always catch it afterwards if you're not able to join live on the HypeHype YouTube channel. Until then, I've been Shogun. You catch me on the Discord, of course, in the app. And then next Thursday, right back here with all of you guys. Until then, hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday, great Friday and weekend, and I will see you around. Peace.